Hello, my name is Rick Wilson. I'm a senior engineering geologist with the California Geological Survey. I'm the lead tsunami scientist for the state of California, and back on March 11, 2011, I was also the lead scientist at that time during the Tohoku Oki earthquake and tsunami. First, before I start, I just wanted to give my condolences to the families of the victims in Japan. There isn't a day goes by that I don't think about what I've seen on video, what I've seen in person, and who I've talked to, and their experiences. And I just really still continue to wish the best for them. When the earthquake and tsunami occurred, my role as the state tsunami scientist for California was to take part in federal, state, and local tsunami warning coordination calls. I was there to help answer questions from local emergency managers who were planning their tsunami response activities. And then also we were coordinating some real-time and post-tsunami field teams. I remember the earthquake occurred just before 10 p.m. and the initial magnitude was a 7.9. And I reminded my colleagues, both at the state and local level, that there's a chance that this magnitude for this event could go up. And within that hour, it did. It went from 7.9 to a magnitude 8.9, and then eventually to a magnitude 9 earthquake. And then this combined with the images we were getting from Japan of the tsunami and the destruction the tsunami was causing, we knew that this could also be an impactful tsunami that could affect California's coast. Eventually, the state of California, the northern 2/3 of California, was put into a tsunami warning level alert status, and the southern 1/3 of the state was a tsunami advisory. And we knew that the forecasted wave heights were going to be somewhat minor to moderate, and that this would correspond with a relatively low tide condition. So we didn't expect to see a lot of inundation of land during this event, but we did know that this was going to cause some very strong currents, strong and damaging currents inside harbors. So a lot of our messaging was to communities to tell their harbors of what they may expect from this particular event. It didn't go completely as we would expect. There are a lot of surprises, but for the most part, the emergency managers and the harbor officials did a great job in responding to the tsunami. On the science side, this was just an opportunity for us to collect information during and after the tsunami also. Just 1 week before the tsunami, we had created a real-time tsunami observer team, but we had only designated 4 people at that point, and they were going to be regional managers along the state. But at least we had those 4 people to send out to places like Santa Cruz Harbor and Ventura Harbor, and places on the North Coast also, to observe the tsunami in real time and report back to Sacramento with information that might be important to the state, and they could also talk to the locals about what was going on in their harbors. So this was very useful information, and since that time we've more fully developed this program. And after the tsunami, we also had 8 field teams go out in the field to collect the perishable information that you see from tsunamis and make observations about the damage. We also sent questionnaires to all harbors and community officials in the state so that they could provide what they saw from it back to us. We had over 150 locations that we had information for, and this really helped the state of California meet the threshold of the federal disaster declaration. So all this information we collected, we used to overtop that threshold, which ended up saving the state of California about $25 million. Overall in California, we had 1 fatality and $100 million of damage to 27 harbors and ports statewide. This does not compare to what happened in Japan. Japan was, on a much higher, much more dangerous and devastating level. But this did remind us here in California that we also have a a very large fault offshore, like a subduction zone fault that can cause a very large tsunami locally, the Cascadia subduction zone. So from that perspective, we were also, wanted to learn from this situation so that we could apply it to the Cascadia region. As I had mentioned, I had visited Japan twice since 2011. 5 months after the tsunami, I was invited by colleagues at the U.S. Geological Survey to join a field reconnaissance team evaluating tsunami deposits and impacts from the tsunami in the Tohoku region. And the damage I saw and the people I talked to and what they've gone through was just heartbreaking. The emotional impact of the Tohoku Oki tsunami will always linger within me. My second trip was a little bit harder on me. This trip to Japan was on March, and during March 11th time period in 2013, 2 years after the event. And I visited, one of the places on that day I visited was the Okawa Elementary School, where 74 students and 10 teachers had perished. And talking to my local contacts there, they had told me that there was a lot of indecision going on what they should do after they felt the earthquake and got the tsunami warning. They wasted some time. If they would have just gone to the hill close to the campus there, they probably would have saved most, if not all, the children and teachers. So this is a very strong lesson for us to learn here in California, to not take these events lightly and to make sure that we have good preparedness. Never forgetting these losses, we have also developed a lot of new tools to help local officials and harbor officials with their tsunami planning activities, preparedness, mitigation, recovery efforts that they have to go forward with in their planning to make sure that the next tsunami doesn't affect them as much. And over the past decade, I think about the Tohoku tsunami on a daily basis. I'm reminded of why we do what we do as professionals and scientists, trying to prepare the public for the next tsunami. And so I hope that we're doing a good job on that, and not letting the people that passed during this event and other events like it fade from our memory. So we need to stay on top of this. Thank you.